Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Kajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketur Ganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Yasya Dvirada Vaktradhya Parishadhya Parasatam Vignam Nighnanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yatkripatamaham bande paramananda madhavam yam brahma varunedra rudra marutaha sunvanti divyaistavaihi vedaihi sankapadakramopaniषदैहि gayanti yam samagaha ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्त्यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः जन्माद्यस्य यतः अन्वयात् इतरतश्च अर्थेषु अभिघ्नः स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म यदा यः आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः तेनो तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोचितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृदि अवरुध्यतेः अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिः तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखातमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः वासुदेव परा वेदा वासुदेव परा मकाः वासुदेव परा योगा वासुदेव परा क्रियाः वासुदेव परं ज्ञानं वासुदेव परं तपः वासुदेव परो धर्मो वासुदेव परा गतिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Now, with Bhagavan's grace, we will take up Adhyayam 16. Atha Shottasodhyayah, Shottasa Adhyayah, 16th Adhyayam. Atha, now, afterwards. So, before taking up the slokams, there are 27 slokangas in Adhyayam 16, and most of them are Anushtup Chantas, the Anushtup meter, except a handful of them are in a different meter. Okay, we will take it up when we come to it. The essence, the summary of it, of what this Adhyayam tells us, something that I will share with you today. This basically picture Bhagavan Prithu has manifested along with Mahalakshmi as Archis Devi. Imagine that scene. All the Rishigal, Devargal, all the Samudrangal, Nadigal, various Devargal, everybody has come there. And then of making various offerings, maybe bringing several ornaments, etc., etc. We saw all that. Then even the singers have come, the musicians have come, people who are highly skilled, proficient in singing the praise of Bhagavan. So, and people who are very skilled and proficient in singing songs of worship and songs of praise. They all have assembled, and how Prithu Maharaja tells them, I have not done anything, you've all come here, but if you're going to be were singing in praise of me, which none of them have been revealed yet. I'm just a young boy, so it will not suit me, right? And when there is the one entity that needs to be praised, and that is the one we should be praising and we should be worshipping, when that is there, it is actually a wasted time, and it is also despicable. It is wasted time if you sing the praise of me, and also it is despicable when you sing the praise of somebody like me when there is Bhagavan is there who you should really worship and praise, etc. He speaks. Now, in 16th Adhyayam, the Rishigal who are present there, they direct the singers present to start their songs. And these singers who have assembled there, they are not ordinary singers. They are Bhagavatas. They not only skilled in the art of music, but also they have been taught the greatness and the worshipfulness and the various Kalyana Gunangal of Bhagavan himself and how to sing about Bhagavan. Okay? And how sing on Bhagavan, on the various qualities. So whatever has been taught to them, various avatarangal and what Bhagavan does, etc., etc., Bhagavan Charitram, so they've been taught on that. So then, directed by the rishis, they start singing. They say, Swami, we are not capable of singing your greatness at all because you are the Paramatma himself, the Supreme Being. Paramatma himself who has taken this form and who is now covering everything with your Yogamaya. But even Brihaspati cannot describe the prowess, the power of this Yogamaya, okay, and of power of this one who is born from a limb of Vena, okay, and but still at the prompting of the rishis, now we are going to describe with great attention and regard the glorious achievements of Prithu. What achievement? The future achievements of Prithu we are going to describe. Nothing has been done yet. Yes, we're going to describe the future achievements of Prithu, who is nothing but an amsam of Bhagavan Sri Hari himself. Now, when I say that, when we say we're going to sing, are we qualified? Do we really know? No, 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 we don't. But to the extent that we have understood from the teachings of our masters, we are going to do that. That's what they say. Then they say, Ritu will be the noblest among all the upholders of Dharma. He himself will follow by setting an example of the dictates of Dharma. He will preserve the regulations and conventions of what Dharma is, the Dharmic conduct is, right? It is not loose, right? Lots of disciplines have to be followed, right? And lots of controls have to be exercised over one's own thought, word, and action. All these he will be following. And any transgressions, he will also instill punishment as corrective measures immediately. Now, in himself, this avataram, he contains all the lokapalas, the various devadegal, the deities who protect the world. All the lokangal, right? Everything has got a Daivik power, Daivik Sakti. And this avatar Prithu contains within himself all the lokapalas. Not only that, he embodies their power to work for the welfare of the world in accordance with the needs of the times. The needs also change with time, isn't it? So he will act accordingly. Now, he's like the sun. What does the sun do? Impartial to all. He will be impartial to all. And another thing the sun does, what does it do? It absorbs water, takes water from where the water is, and then gives it back when it is needed, isn't it? Which we call as rain. In the same way, he was impartial to all, and he will take wealth from them by his power and release it afterwards for their welfare. What a beautiful protection. Just think of it. Now, he will be so compassionate. Endowed is a compassion incarnate. Okay, Daya Swarupam itself. So he will have great compassion and sympathy for the sufferings of, of others. And like the earth, which is the example of forbearance, Pormai, forbearance. The Mother Earth is the example for that. Bhudevi is the example of forbearance. So he will be like that, just like the earth. He will have tremendous forbearance, sympathy towards sufferings of all, and with the tremendous forbearance that he has, he will be capable of pardoning even people who rise against him, so called his enemies. That requires tremendous forbearance. And then, just like when Indra withholds rain and causing tremendous suffering to people, he will protect them like a real leader because he is Sri Hari himself, who has taken the role of a king. Now he is showering bliss on this world with his moon-like face and lit up by an inspiring smile, beautiful smile, and shedding rays of loving glances. Bhagavan looks at you with loving glance. It transports you to somewhere else. Prithu also, in all respects, he's like Varuna. His mental outlook is limitless. Now, his state secrets are confined within himself. He is one with great depth of thought. His wealth is well guarded. His greatness is endless. He is the ground of all virtues. And he is disciplined in every way because he is setting an example for all of us. Now, this fire of Prithu, you can say, Vena's two arms were stirred, and then Prithu and Arshis Mahadevi, they came. How is it possible? It's actually a fire, Agni. Like the way when you take the arani, which is a type of wood that you stir it against another wood, like in Agnihotram, how fire comes out of it. That same Agni which is present in your body and in my body, okay? That Agni is present, and that has taken the form of Prithu. So this is fire of Prithu, churned out of Arani of Vena, is as inaccessible and formidable to enemies, either at close quarters or at a distance. Doesn't matter. Okay, he is formidable to all the enemies, and none can overcome him. Now, he keeps very close touch with the thoughts and actions of everyone. Okay, but he remains as an unmoved spectator, just like the all-pervading witness self that is within each one of us. As the enforcer of law, he would never inflict punishment on an innocent man, even the man be his enemy's son. On the other hand, he will never hesitate to inflict punishment on an offender, even if it be his own son. So impartial, judicious. This King Prithu's order, command, shall run unimpeded wherever the sun sheds its light and heat. And because he will delight the world with his actions, his subjects will call him Raja. Raja, the word Raja we use so often that started with the Prithu Avataram. Raja, he was the first king on the earth. What does Raja mean? Raja. It means one who delights, one who gives bliss, happiness, joy through the attraction of love. That joy, one who gives Raja. Okay. So he'll be, people will call him Raja. Okay. Because he delights all people, the world, the whole world with his actions. Now he will follow austere discipline in his life. He will be truthful. He will be devoted to holy men. And he will provide service to elders. And he will be a refuge to all beings. And he will be respectful to all. He respects all people, all beings. And he will be benevolent to the suffering and the afflicted. Now, to others' wives, these are all conducts that we must emulate. That's what he will be. To others' wives, he will show the respect due to one's mother. This is how Rama also conducted himself. Exactly the same way, Rama Avtara. To others' wives, he will show the respect due to one's mother. He will consider them as his own mother, respectful to them as his own mother. To his wife, he will be as loving and devoted as to his body's other half, as the same body. That's how loving and devoted he will be. To his subject, he will be as affectionate as a father. And then to enlightened men, he will be like a servant. To all beings, embodied beings, he will be as dear as their own self. Now, with friends, he will foster in them greater and greater joy. He will be attached to those who are non attached. Please remember that Bhagavan attaches himself to those who are non attached. Actually, the non attachment comes only when I attach myself to Bhagavan, which means when I attach myself to him, he attaches himself to me. It's as simple as that. Okay. So, and then towards the wicked people, he will be like Yama. Now, in him, the wise people, the elders, the scholars, the pandits, they perceive this manifold world as a meaningless manifestation brought out by Maya. That supreme being, that's what he is. He is unchangeable, the all powerful, the immanent self in all. That supreme being has now incarnated himself as Prithu. He is unrivaled hero. He will now listen carefully. He will rule over the whole earth from the mountain of dawn in the east, right from where the sun rises, right from that point, from the earth, he will rule the earth. The whole Bhudevi, the whole what we call earth was ruled by him. He will be seated with a bow in hand in his victorious chariot. He will go around the world like the sun. Now, on his way, here and there, local rulers and their princes, overlords will gather to greet him and offer him tributes. The women folk will look upon this first king as Mahavishnu himself. The very first king that the movie Earth had is Prithu. So, and they will sing his glories. Now, his primary charter that he takes upon himself will be the duty to provide a livelihood for his people. So, what will he do? There's a phrase that's coming, which please wait to understand because it will be described later in the another one or two adhyayanga later. What will he do not to protect the livelihood of people? Remember, the world was completely barren. Imagine when tremendous cruelty takes place, rains stop coming. When there is no rain, what happens to crops? There are no crops, which what we call as drought. Putting it another way, the Mother Earth becomes so sad she withdraws everything into herself. Nothing shows up. How can people live without any food from the earth? That's the stage that Kruta Avataram took place. So his primary duty is to provide, that he set for himself, to provide livelihood for his people. So what will he do? He will milk the earth in the form of a cow. He will milk the earth in the form of a cow. To understand it simply, to bring out all the hidden resources of Mother Earth. Okay, here the cow refers to the Mother Earth because Mother Bhudevi is like a cow, right? It gives us and gives us our nutrition, our life force. Everything comes only from Mother Earth. So, that, and when we milk a cow, what do? We extract the milk, which is very important for our life, for our living, isn't it? So, like that, as a cow, he will extract, okay, milk the earth, which means bringing out all the hidden resources of the earth. Then, and just as Indra did, um, what will he do? Indra, remember in the stories where he goes, you might have read about in Sundarakandam and all that, Indra comes with his Ayudham and start chasing mountains because those days the mountains had wings. They were flying all over. People were getting afraid, falling on people and all that. So to protect it, Indra came and started cutting all the wings of the mountains. The Mainaka Parvatam escaped, allowed rather Indra allowed it to escape because it had a duty to perform later. So it came underwater, and actually why Bhagavan carried it and kept it under the Samudram. So that is the Mainaka Parvatam that rises up when Hanuman crosses the ocean, just to remind you. And so, like that's what Indra did. Like that, he would split mountains with the end of his bow. Now, when he splits the mountains, drought everywhere with the end of his bow, and using that, he will level the earth. He will level the earth. And then he will go about twanging his bow made of the horns of a goat and a bull, before the might of which there will be none to stand in the battlefield. His bow was like the horn of a goat, shaped like that, or a horn of a bull. Nobody could beat him in the battlefield. And evildoers, which means people with cruel tendencies, which was what uh, nourished and fostered by Vena, remember? So, like we can see lots of cruelties in the world. Please remember that. So, Bhagavan is coming and he will take care. So, all the doers in all places, they will melt away in oblivion. Just as when a lion enters a forest, the animals all vanish immediately. Like that. He will perform 100 Aswamedha Yagangal, Yajnangal. The goddess Saraswati will make her appearance at his Yajnam. And during the 100th Yajnam, Aswamedha Yagam, Indra will steal away the horse, okay, that is kept there, which while the sacrifice is being performed. Indra will steal it away. What does it mean? See, go now. You have to connect this with Ramavataram also, because Bhagavan Sri Hari's form is what this is all. Anyway, we'll come to that later. So, in his palace garden, the sage Sanat Kumara, remember Sanat Kumara, who is all knowing and who travels alone, and he will arrive there. And Prithu will worship him with devotion and get from him instruction for the realization of the Supreme Brahman. He himself is Supreme Brahman, he himself is Avatara. But sisters and brothers, remember, Krishna went to Sandipani, Balarama went to Sandipani, right? And Rama was taught by Vasishtha, right? So the Avataram comes, they set an example of a teacher, a student, how a student should behave, right? So he receives teachings, instructions from Sanat Kumara on the Atma Tattvam, on the realization of Supreme Brahman. Now, this King Prithu, whose reputation and heroism are far famed, will hear his praise being sung by people wherever he goes. He will hear it. See, very beautiful it is, because the Avatara manifests, he tells the singers, hey, don't sing about me. I've not done anything. Nothing has been revealed yet. Nothing has manifested. I've not taken any action. But when after all these actions are taken, he goes around, he hears the praises being sung by all his citizens. Okay? And then, exceeding greatness that he is, he will reign as a supreme ruler over the whole earth, having destroyed all the oppressive forces in the world by his power, prowess, and strength, and established his unchallengeable sway, control, reign over the whole land. Okay, so basically, all the beings could not live. The livelihood was being taken away. Imagine if there is drought all around the world. If there is no water, what will you do? How long can we live? You, me, and all other beings. Bhagavan comes and resurrects. Okay? That's what Pruthu Avadaram is. His greatness will be sung about by Devas and Asuras alike. That is the English translation summary of the slokangal, the 27th slokangal that we will cover. We'll take up the first slokam in Adhyayam 16 tomorrow. I have about 8 minutes left. I will end the session here. For me, 1 second. So, the first slokam says, for example, Ata Shodasodhyayaha Maitreya Uvacha iti Urvanam Nurpatim Gayaka Muni Choditaha Tushtuvuhu Tushta Manasastat Bhaga Amrita Sevaya. Okay, we'll take that up tomorrow and break up the Padangal. And then we'll proceed on our journey. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om